Was that good or what? Guys, as you can see, I have been busy building. I'm pretty happy with how all of this turned out. This will be our little Ars Nouveau automation area. And I have everything set up, but I saved the good parts of actually automating these things so I can do it on camera with you guys. But I did spend a bunch of time just making this look pretty. And I'm super happy with it. I think this came out great. Especially because I have never considered myself as like a builder, and I've always had like lawn bases and stuff. But ever since starting this series, well, and the one before this, like actually doing YouTube, it's kind of given me the motivation or the push to actually try to make builds. So it's more interesting for you guys to watch. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. The way building works for me usually is like I'll sit there for 2 to 3 days, just like not being able to place down a single block, and I'll like look at my screen. I have no idea how to make anything work, and then I'll get like some kind of a lame idea that I'll try to build, and then it looks awful and I get frustrated, and then all of a sudden I get like a good idea and I can sit there and like crank it out. And it's once I actually like have the idea for building, then it goes really quickly and it looks nice. But getting to that point is really frustrating. But I love the results. Like once it's done, I don't enjoy the process, but once it's done, I love having a nice building that I can use, and it's great. So anyways, let me introduce you guys to Gilbert. This is Gilbert, our little baby dragon. Let's go in here and take a look at him. Look at that, Gilbert. He will follow us around. I wish there was a way you could make entities or like pets that you've tamed be able to roam without following you, because if I like go somewhere, he's going to teleport to me, and I don't want that. Get back here. And he's got some fire to keep him warm and a little water bowl. Get in here, buddy. Come on. If you guys are wondering how you get this, he is from Living Things, I think is called. Yeah, Living Things. Basically, you take a purple block and a dragon egg, and you put the dragon egg on top of the purple block, and then a wild baby dragon will spawn, and you feed it chorus fruit to tame it. So I was thinking maybe like, because the wild ones won't follow us around, so I could have a couple of wild ones in here, and as long as we lock them up, they're not gonna attack us, because they will like attack you with fire and stuff. So anyways, Gilbert, come a little closer. Pose for the camera. Sit right there. Perfect. I'm using framed panel blocks here and putting in Dire Glass Viewer from, I think it's from SiteCraft. And then this over here is Fred, short for Frederick. And he's also from Living Things. He spawns around in Nether fortresses. So he's over here. I made him a little bit bigger by using the shrinking device from Shrink. And just so he looks a little scarier. And he has a pet, whatever, the wildebeest. So anyways. And then this area, the coming soon, will be coming soon, as the sign suggests. This is going to be our Forbidden Arcanus area. And the cobblestone will be probably dark stone. I don't have any dark stone at the moment. We'll have to get those. I don't think there's a way to really generate dark stone besides using like bees or mystical agriculture. So we will probably have to set up a quarry for that and filter it so it only finds the dark stone. But coming soon. And then you can see there's like some cobblestone here. So it's gonna fade from the Ars Nouveau stuff to the Forbidden Arcana stuff. And I think that'll look really cool. Anyways, let's get into the juice. So this area is going to be for all of our essences. So in the center here, we're going to be producing source gems. And on the outsides, we're doing our 8 different essences. I'm not going to bother with the other essences, like all of these ones from Elemency, Ars Elemency. I'm not going to bother with. They don't really have very many uses. But all of the essences from Ars and then the Anima essence from Elemental, we'll do those 8. So that's going to be here. And of course, we're going to use Super Factory Manager to do that. And over here is our enchanting apparatus and an imbuement chamber crafting thing. Oh, guys, check this out. Did you know that this is a storage? So we're going to be, this storage is where we're going to have our pattern provider attached to, and as well as Super Factory Manager. And it's going to basically work like the pattern provider will dump all the materials in here, and that's how we're going to automate crafting here. So these are really cool. It's from the Framed Blocks mod. Secret storage, this guy, secret frame storage. So you just use that, and then you can turn it into any block you want by just right clicking on it, and it works with connected textures, and you can make it glow and all that stuff. Cool. So, oh, and then this area will be where our Drygmies are, as you guys probably saw in the intro. But we're gonna set all that up today. So let's just jump right into it. Enough rambling. I always spend like 10 minutes in the beginning of the episode just talking about random things. Why don't we start with these essences? So I will break these blocks, and we're going to replace them with inventory cables and then facade them. All right, so inventory cables are placed down, and to facade, all we have to do is just use our guy over here and right click them with these blocks. And then we have to do the same with these. Right now, those are all inventory cables, and we are ready to set this up. So we will need an interface to keep lapis in, so we can turn them into source gems from here, and then take the source gems and turn them into essences into these guys. And something you may not have known, the scribes table can actually pull, like when you're trying to make glyphs from Ars Nouveau, if you have an interface set next to your scribes table, it will actually pull the items directly from your thing. So this is where we're going to set up our interface. And we can go down there. Let's grab our interface like that. And we don't need power for anything, so we don't need an induction card. I'll just leave the interface there. And let's go down below. And this is where we can set everything up. Okay. These guys all need to change to inventory cables as well. And the problem with inventory cables is they don't have connected textures yet. And this guy needs to be connected textures. So I'm going to use camel for that. And camel works with the connected textures. And we'll use the fancy cables down here. We also need to connect to the interface, and I wonder if that's going to cause problems with this. Doesn't look like it. So on this side, we can connect Super Factory Manager, and then we'll bring our applied energy 6 cables down from there. So let me turn on night vision so it's easier for you guys to see. This secret storage is already connected with this inventory cable, and we'll have to connect applied energistics here. So do that with that cable and go over there. And then there's another secret storage here somewhere. Oops, this one. And we'll leave this one for now. I don't need to do anything with it. Let's hook up the rest of our. All right, everything is hooked up, and we need to set up the interface now. So in this interface, we're going to have lapis, and we'll just do 64. And this doesn't have to be an oversized one. I think we're only going to be needing a couple of things from here. So there's that. Let's maybe set up a wireless connector. So what I'm going to be doing in this area is, let's go back up and I'll show you. Where's my hole? Hello? Hole? Let's call this our hole. So if we go down here and we step down, oops, not over there. We step down here. This is kind of the basement area, and you can see I've already outlined all of the stuff for occultism too. We're going to get to this in just a second. Don't worry about that. But basically over here, I have a quantum ring set up. And this quantum ring is bringing our applied energistics system over here from our other compact machine. And then in here, I can just use wireless connectors to go from here to up there, or like to here also. So that one is connected to our occultism setup here for these pattern providers. We're also going to be automating occultism here. Not fully, but close enough. So here I'll set up our other wireless connector, and we're going to be needing the setup kit. So let's bind it to that guy and go up here. I think when you have night vision on, it doesn't look as pretty as that. Our dragging guy is very noisy. I don't know if I love that. And down here, we're going to be setting up this guy. So now we have applied energistics over here, and we need pattern providers. Let's just grab a couple of those. So where that chest is, right here, we're going to have one pattern provider. And use cables to hook them up. So this is online. Why is this a normal pattern provider? All right, so this is going to hold our recipes for the enchanting apparatus, and we need to make sure we put this in blocking mode. And we also need to lock the crafting right here. So we want to lock until the primary crafting result is returned. So it's going to wait to do that. And I'll explain that in just a second. Okay, I think we're ready. So let's set our manager somewhere. How about over here? Just so we have access to it without having to go down below. I wish you could facade the managers too, but I guess it makes sense why that might be difficult. All right, so we're going to pick up lapis from the interface, and we're going to keep one of those into the gem imbuement chambers, and that's going to be the 9 in the middle. And then we're going to input source gems from those guys and put it in the interface. And then we're going to input those source gems from the interface again and retain one of those to each of the essence imbuement chambers. And then we are going to input everything, all the essences except the source gem from those, and then put in the interface. The only thing we need to do now is label all of these guys. So let's pull the labels from here. Our interface is going to be right there, and we need to also keep source gems in here. And then we have our gem imbuements in the middle, and this is going to be all of our essences. And that's it for now. So once we do that, these guys have started crafting source gems. And now I forgot to populate these pedestals. So let's go back over to the mining dimension where we had it set up previously. And we can grab all of these from here. Let's go back. I need to set these guys up. And you can see as soon as I set that up, the source gem appears, and it's going to be crafting, this one's fire essence. So let's do the next one. This should be earth, I believe. Yes, sir. And just like that, this entire room is set up. And if you didn't know, I mean, obviously we covered it when we set it up in the mining dimension, but if you haven't seen that episode, the way these imbuement chambers work is it doesn't consume the items from the platforms or the pedestals. So you can just set those up. You don't need to worry about replenishing those. They'll just stay there. And all you have to do is put in the source gems and take them out. And we're using Super Factory Manager to do that. So this is fully set up. We're going to be making way more source gems than we're using in here. And I made a disk or a cell, a storage cell from Applied Energistics just for all of these essences. And that's going to be in our system with an equal distribution card in there. So now let's worry about our imbuement chamber. Now I would love to automate this with our, with an entangled block. That would make it very nice, so we don't have to connect cables to the enchanting apparatus in the middle. The problem is we can't make that yet because of the Enderium comb block. That's going to require us to get a little bit into bees, which I don't mind doing for, I mean, obviously we're going to have to do it to make the star. But that's a whole other offshoot that's going to take a long time to do. So unfortunately, in the meantime, we'll just have to use modular routers. And I'll use a couple of those. We will need a puller and sender modules. So let's see how that's going to work. All of these pedestals are connected by emitter cables below. So we can insert and extract from those. And let's take a look at here. Basically, what we need to do is first insert the items on the pedestal and then insert the thing in the enchanting apparatus, because if it doesn't find a recipe, it's not going to let you insert into that. So that has to be done last. So the first thing we're going to be doing, and if you look at this chest, when we make our patterns, we're going to make sure that the first item is the thing that goes inside of the enchanting apparatus, and then we're going to use the slots to pick up the rest of them. So that's going to be slot 0. So then if we pick up from slots 1 through 8, or I mean, we can do through 17 or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not going to ever use those other ones. And we'll put those into the pedestal. So so this is what it's going to be. We're going to pick up from the barrel slots 1 through 12, and then put one of each of those, put one item in each of the pedestals. And then we are going to take slot 0, which is going to be the item that goes inside the enchanting apparatus, and we're going to set that, or put that inside of a router. And then we'll have to use a second router to pull into our, push it back into the pattern provider. So let's label everything. And if we go down here, we need to set down our modular routers. So we'll set down one over there. I guess right next to each other is fine. So first we need a sender to send to the Enchanting apparatus. So this one is going to be the router that's hooked up to Super Factory Manager. So let's push that in there. And when this guy gets the item, it's just going to send it to the Enchanting apparatus. And let's grab some speed upgrades for that. How about, I don't know, we'll do 10. The maximum you can do is less than 12. 9 is maximum. Why does it let you put more than that? That's annoying. We'll just do 3. And we're going to also put the muffling upgrades in there. That way it doesn't, you don't see the lasers going in and out. So this is going to send the items to the Enchanting apparatus, and then we need to pull from the Enchanting apparatus and send to, there it is, pulling from the Enchanting apparatus, and we need to send to the pattern provider. So that is what this guy is going to do, and that should be good. I don't think we need stack upgrades for that. So now this should be all set up. We can't use it yet because most of the Enchanting apparatus stuff uses source. So we'll also have to set up source somewhere. I think the source jar has to be within one block of these guys. So maybe we'll set up a couple, like one back here and one over here. Let's just do that. That's where the modular router is. We're going to move this guy. We'll just move this guy back here and have to relabel him. All right, so 2 source shards. We're going to need an export bus. We're going to set it up with our applied energistic system and some cables. Let's grab those cables. So here is where that will go, or we'll just go this way. We put the export bus over there, and it's going to do source. So you filter that. You just right click with the source jar, and we'll put the source jar over there, and we can facade with one of these guys. Right, so that's going to get source from our system, which we will set up soon. And whoops, let's set up another one over here. So that guy will go over there. Source being exported, like so. And this guy will go behind it. Come on. Right, so the source for this imbuement chamber will come from this source shard, and then this one for the Enchanting apparatus. So I think that sets our, oh, we just have to connect them. So let's do that. All right, this is all cleared up in the mining dimension, so we no longer have the setup over here. The only thing we just have to do now is set up source generation in here somewhere. And I'm going to change it up. Instead of using lava, we'll do the cactus method. So we could do 4 of those guys and a, what's it called? Snad. So that's just 2 pieces of sand together to make snad, and we need a timer from RF tools and a cog block. So let's set that guy up. Down here somewhere. All right, so the way this setup is going to work, we need to put a cog block up here, and we're tick accelerating this guy with 2 ticks. So when we have the SNAD blocks going, it's going to make the cactus grow faster. So we put these SNAD blocks surrounding a cog block, which is going to tick accelerate it and make the cactus grow very, very fast. And you can see when cactus gets next to something that it can't grow, it automatically breaks. So if we take something like a piece of wall, and we put that over there, you can see they all break. And if we take a source link, Vitalik, or what's it called? The agronomic one. This is going to produce a ton of source. So we put the agronomic source link nearby, like over here. And this should be getting source if we put a source shard down. Oh yeah, look at that. So it's going. And this can actually directly send to the other one, it looks like. But not that one. It might be too far. I don't want it to do that, actually. Let's set it down over here. And we're going to stop the cactus, because that's madness. But we put the interface below that and the import bus under the thing. Right, so that's going to import the source gem into the interface. That's going to go into our system. And we need to make that the Zycraft item collector. The nice thing about the Zycraft item collector is it picks things up before they drop in the world, so you don't have to put a demagnetizer or anything. So we'll set this guy over here, and it's going to filter cactus. I think that's how that works. So if we set these guys up, you can see that is going, and the cactus is going to our system. So let's set up a silencing thing for this guy. We will call it cactus. Give it a 3-block radius. It's wool break, block.wool.break, and we have a radius of 5 from this corner. So now that is silent and we're producing a ton of source. We just have to finish hooking this guy up to our applied energistics. Why am I big? All right, now this is fully automated. That's going to our system. This can't pull the source yet. Let's use some acceleration cards also. Because we need somewhere for the source to go. And we will make a source cell to do that. We're going to need to make the housing. So we can do this. And then here is the item cell housing. That is what's going to be going in the first slot. So we make that, and then the mega one is here. Make sure that the item that goes in Enchanting Apparatus is in the middle, or in the first slot. And let's put that inside of our... this thing I'm going to break and rename it real quick. Let's use an anvil to do that. Oops. I'm going to rename this to Enchanting Apparatus, and that way in our system it's going to show up as Enchanting Apparatus. That's not what we want. Now when we search Enchanting Apparatus, you can see that barrel, and we can put all of our recipes in there. So let's set that up, and then let's look for our source cell, and we're going to be making just one of these. We have all of the ingredients, so you can see it goes in there. It's going to craft the first tier, and then it'll have to craft the second tier. Ding! so Enchanting Apparatus is set up. We have the source cell, and let's grab a, oh, I don't know. Should we do a 256 mil one? Why not? There's our 256 million storage thing. We are going to put source in here. Let's see, maybe we don't have to partition it. So there we go. So you can see source is going in there. If we take a look in here, we have 20,000 source, 30,000. So that seems to be working. If we go back, and just check down here. This is empty, so it's pulling in the source. Cool. So this is all set up. And just to make sure we are chunk loaded. All right, so we got all of these guys set up. Now we need some Drygmy charms, so we can set up our Drygmies. And we can make the rest, because this is an enchanting apparatus, so we can actually make the recipe for this. And again, the Drygmy token goes in the first slot. So this is going to make us the Drygmy charm, and we put that in the enchanting apparatus, and we'll be able to auto-craft those guys too. I don't think I have the ingredients for it. Let's say we want to make 5. Oh, we do. Take a look at that. There was one thing we forgot, actually, is to add more of those muffling upgrades to this router. Because, look, it's going to do the laser thing. Like that. So I don't like seeing those because it reminds me of having modular routers. So when you put that in there, it will no longer do that. You can also use Wixies to do this, but I prefer this method because the Wixies is just one block. I don't know, and they're entities and they sometimes break or whatever. This is just Old Faithful with Super Factory Manager. All right, let's set these guys up. We need some cobblestone, mossy cobblestone. I'm going to set those guys up over here. This is where our Drygmies will be. So in each of these corners, we'll set up that, and I think we can just do this. And in the center, we will set another source jar because these guys will require source to work. Export bus goes over there. We filter it for source acceleration cards. I don't think you really need the acceleration cards, but that's where this will be. And then I think I want these guys one block higher. Right, those guys will be converted. And then we need to hook this up to our system. So there's our wireless connector. We hook it up to this guy. Right, so now this source jar is full and all of these Drygmies can farm mob loot. So let's set up some, can we set up source stone slabs? Can you make it with these guys? Oh, we can. Like so. Excuse me, bud. And then these other ones, let's make one more Drygmy charm. Just so each of those things can have 2. So we'll have 6 total Drygmies. Boom. You can add more over there. So each of those have 3 now, and the Drygmies basically just farm mob loot. We do need to do the containment ritual. So we'll need a brazier that I can just set up over here, and we need the tablet of containment. And then when we activate this, it will just capture things in this area inside of some containment jars. And we can have containment jars like this. All right, so here will be our Drygmies. Oh, it catches the Drygmies? Come on. Guys, I'm jumping in here from the future to re-record a little section here just because the original recording was really dry and boring and dragged out and long, and I don't want to make you guys sit through that. So I hope you'll forgive me. I'm going to just do this part again. Basically, what I've settled on is I didn't want to move this anywhere else because this was kind of the ideal place for it, in my opinion. But it, you know, as you saw, it does grab the Drygmies. So what I've settled on is every time I want to, you can control this, any ritual working with just the redstone signal. So this torch will turn this on and off. So right now it's turned off, even though the ritual's in there. And let's say I want to put a mob inside of the containment jars. I can just kill all these guys. Or just like, boom, do that. And we get, why is my magnet off? We get all of our Drygmies back in our inventory. Then I'll drop down the mob over here, turn this on, and it's going to capture the monster inside of the jars. And then I can turn it back off and put our Drygmies back on their hinge. And they'll start dancing and farming. And basically what I've gathered in here, oh, and the way you get the items that the Drygmies farm is you need a chest or an inventory touching the hinge. So underneath, I have more of those secret chests. So it is made to look like the source blocks, source gem blocks, source stone. And it goes in there. And then I have Super Factory Manager that's set up over here. That's just picking up from those. I'm trashing some of the things and then putting the rest in the interface. So if we go down here, I can show you what that looks like. Down here is just another interface with a wireless connector connected to our quantum ring down there. And then a trash can over here. So that is simple enough. And the first mobs I grabbed were these two mobs from occultism that give us the occultism essences. The Afrit essence comes from the Unbound Afrit, or the Summon Unbound Afrit ritual. So I did the ritual down in our occultism area, and then I caught it with a mob catcher, brought it in here, killed the Drygmies, and then now it's in the jar. Same thing with this one. This is the Merit one that gives us the Merit essence. And now, instead of every time we need these things, instead of having to do the ritual, we just already have those essences. So look, I already have 600 of those and 651 of the Merit essences. So those are being farmed by our Drygmies. And then these other stuff, the breeze, you guys will see in just a second. Oh, one more thing before I sign off of this section is if you accidentally catch something inside of these jars, like you can put an item in there accidentally, and if you shift right click, you'll get the item back, but you can't shift right click the entities out. The only way to get them out is to have a dispel. So we go over here, I'm just doing touch and dispel, and that will pull things out of the jar. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to end the episode here. You probably saw in the intro video that I also automated occultism rituals with applied energistics, but that's going to have to wait until the next episode. This is already running long, and if I include the occultism part, it will just be too long. Plus, I think it will be better to separate the two videos. So I'm sorry to leave you with a cliffhanger, but I will cover it in the next episode, I promise. I am so thrilled with this new base expansion. I hope you guys liked it too, and that you've been enjoying this series. But anyways, enough of me for now. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope to see you in my All the Mods 10 to the Sky series. Bye!